Hello, ladies and gents. We are in part number 2 of daily number 421, where we have extra special guest Sheth coming on. And, whoopsie daisies, Sheth, your window. Oh my god, I accidentally moved it into the wrong spot. You look great now. I was typing to you in break. What Sheth and I are doing is Sheth is experimenting with a new strategy, and what we're trying to do is attack all the sort of areas of ambiguity. And right now, I almost feel like, you know how like when you like take a sketch, Mr. Sheth, and you like draw like just like a round circle for a face, you kind of like get the basic shapes, and I feel like we're trying to like squeeze more detail out of it, trying to like really get the face finalized from it. And I feel like right now we're talking a lot about the early game. We were talking about like, should we get the infestors first or the zerglings? So I wanna try this. So right now, you kind of have this late game idea of Zergling, Infestor, Ultralisk, Broodlord with 4 bases, and you just kind of want to wind up there. And let's just suppose for a minute that you have a good idea of what to do there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to try to list off all the things that we could possibly be worried about right around that, like, 8 to 12 minute mark.
There's so many.
Yeah,
So
there's a
many.
lot, but like... Okay, but like, what would some of those be? There's like, you were talking about 2 base Colossus was like an issue.
Yeah.
There's a standard sort of Void Ray opening. Well, actually, let's do like the 7 to 9 minute sort of threats. So there's the really fast 4-gate.
Yep.
There's really fast Void Ray, with 1 Stargate.
DTs.
DTs. Oh. Okay, yeah. Crap. Okay.
DTs are really bad against this, though. Like, you get a lair so quick that
Yeah.
it's not a huge deal. If they have an expansion, too, at least.
Still, completely, totally forgot about DTs, man. People haven't done that much recently.
Oh,
There's the... I guess I would still lump the 2 Stargate stuff kind of in the same stuff, in the same category. And then there's some sort of 6-gate all-in. Does that seem reasonable of a list of like 7 to 9 minute-ish threats? If they really expand? There's like...
Yep.
So let's see. I feel like if he went for the straight regular 4-gate, well, all right. I want to pop back to the game, and I want to get to your base right at 8 minutes and see kind of where you're at. It looks like you have just gotten your spine crawlers up. So I guess at the current game state, you're fine.
Do I have speed at 8 minutes?
Oh, not even close. You're gonna get that bad
Not
boy
even
done in
close?
9 minutes. So I guess you're fine against like a +1 zealot push around then. Like first 4 zealots would arrive, and you can move all the way down. But your layer does seem late at 8 minutes. It seems a little bit delayed. If he goes Void Ray, what's the timing about around when it gets to your base? Isn't it like 8:30ish?
I'm not sure. Like, it depends on the situation. And I don't actually know the time for it either. I wish I could give you a time. I just know a feel.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think if like we can just list off all the possible openings. I feel like against sort of like really fast Void Ray, I mean, he has to get the Void Ray and the Phoenix to really be a threat to us because we only have 2 queens. And then we'll probably have the Infestors up in time. But I wonder, is 6-gate going to be the biggest threat around that period of time? Like a big 6-gate
I
push?
think.
Do you have any experience?
I think this build, the way it works, is just about the safest you can possibly get. Because the spines will help you defend. You
Yeah.
have these lings out. They don't have speed, but they can still scout for the +1 timing, the amount of units. And then you have a 2 base. Like, you're going to get a 3rd queen, and you're going to get Evo Chambers up quick, too. So then you have the option of, like, spores, and you're only defending 2 bases if they go for that starport thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like the easiest thing to defend, and you don't have to worry about like more than one choke point. I guess on some maps this could be like really scary, like maybe Entombed, where there's like kind of 2 entrances.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I feel like we've made progress because we basically said that any sort of shit that he could hurl at us early on, we're gonna swat down. It's not going to be a big problem. And whatever response we have is
Spine
going to be
crawler.
intuitive. Yeah, yeah, the spine crawlers, the queens, you have the Evo chambers up for the spores, your Zergling speed. I'm trying to list the reasons why we're holding all those things off and seeing if we can get rid of one. To sort of smooth it out. I don't... Zergling speed still feels like the only one that we really have some flex on.
Yeah.
But I still feel like you need the other ones. Okay, so then I guess the next question is, we're safe from 7 to 9 minutes, so if we're from like 9 to 12 minutes, it feels like the one thing that could be a threat in general, all things seem to lead back to him taking a really fast third base. Or a 2-base Colossus timing that's a little bit delayed.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's the two main threats, that and War Prism. But, like, on a map like Daybreak here, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, I should have an Overlord spread everywhere. And because I'm only on 2 bases for so long, I mean, I can leave my Zerglings in my main. And the fact that I put my third hatch in my main gives me, like, 2 queens to try and hit the War Prism out pretty quick, too. So yeah, War Prism and the 2-base Colossus push. Blink's not going to do anything, and a whole bunch of gates shouldn't do anything if I make enough spines, and then have Lings to come from behind. Plus infestors pop, and they're like, well, I lose.
Okay, so I have a follow-up thought about this like faster layer idea, that all the basic threats are going to be defended fairly intuitively because we're auto-building 3 spines. And we're having these queens and Evo chambers set up. Those feel like the core for our basic defense.
Yep.
The next scariest thing that can happen is this early push or this early expand, which are pretty different on the overall spectrum. So I think rather than getting speed Zerglings out to control, getting the faster layer will let you get an Overseer up early to just waltz right into his base and see exactly what's up. And if you see him then going for some sort of 2-base Colossus push, you can do a super stereotyped response to it.
Just go Roach.
Probably just pure Roach, but you get the Infestors first since you have the really fast layer, and then you get the Roach with speed.
Take a third. Just take 3 bases and then cut drone production. Yeah, that would work. It's not a bad call.
And I think that because it feels like it wouldn't. Because I feel like the argument should be that if you do this really skewed response to the 2-base play, that's okay, because your end goal is to go like Ling Ultra, Infestor, whatever. And, well, you're delayed on that. Well, that kind of stinks, but he's also delayed on whatever he wants to do, and that'll probably help. Yeah, like, if he's so delayed, then his third's, like, super messed up. I actually was wondering if we could look at the ESV Cloud Kingdom game.
Of course.
Yeah.
The one I lose, maybe.
Yeah, because, I mean, in a lot of the games you sent, there's sort of these, like, wacky situations that wind up happening late. And I'm certain I want to look at those, like, at some point in time, but I'm curious mostly about this middle period where he's, like, getting up his third expansion.
He plays this game really well, and like I said, I'm not that used to this build, so I don't know how much I can defend and how much I can't. So it's like, I'm trying to be safe and not just die. But it's like, I should probably just have been riskier.
Well, let's see. At some point, I want to find out what the earliest time you can get a layer at is and still not dodge any of your drone timings.
Yeah, because that's the important part about taking the gas this late, is that we're using all of our larvae.
Yeah,
and we're going to be able to get a third queen and a third hatch.
He has 0 creep tumor, like, at all. Maximum larva. And doesn't he just go, like, 5-gate expand-ish? Or 5-gate to third base at this point?
Yeah, it looks that way. He had +1 and I didn't think he did, so that was horrible.
Yeah, this is, I guess, what's kind of concerning me about relying on Zerglings too much at any point with an opening like this, is that, like, if he gets +1, it's just, there's almost not much that can go well. I mean, even at this point, when you were up against his 0-0 Zealots, it looks like he just got them at like the 9.5 minute mark. Even against non-+1, it's rough.
Yeah. Like, that's why the spines are, like, so necessary. And in this game, I don't make them at the right timing. Like, you can tell that I was trying to be greedy and cut that corner of the spine crawlers. Yeah. It didn't work out well for me.
Yeah, because I'm actually gonna... I'm at 11 minutes, and I'm gonna pause here. And I'm curious, like... It feels like right now, we're in a position where we really have to make something magical happen.
Yeah. Like, how about if we take here, it's right 11 minutes, right? And you see his army's pretty big. I don't really have that many Zerglings, but I will fairly soon have these infestors pop out.
Yeah.
So again, maybe just that sort of timing can be really, really good.
Okay, so I wanna try to phrase this in a different way and see what comes out of it. Right now at 11 minutes, I wonder if you're already in a behind position.
And I bet you I am.
Yeah, because it feels like you are right now, and I'm gonna start resuming the game. I'm at ×2 speed, and I see you just trying to do some counterattack type stuff with Zerglings, and you actually are able to dance around without actually taking too much damage. So I'm wondering, as we play out the rest of the game, if there's something that will let you just sort of come back. I mean, obviously you're a little bit behind on food, you're a little bit behind on bases, but as we've seen Stefano do, he's really good at just winning anyways in this position. It's like not a problem at all. Let's see, at 12 minutes your infestors are able to get to his base. And I feel like it might be a little bit of just like a slow burn for the rest of the game.
Well, how about if you look at that 12-minute point where I was heading towards his third? Now, how about just take away 2 of the infestors, so I have 4, which isn't that threatening, right? Yeah. Take away most of the Zerglings. If I dropship his main, you know, and then go in the third, I think that has a lot of potential.
I think that has a ton of potential. You know, I even want to say, like, pretending that we skip the early Zergling speed and we try to get a little bit faster of a layer, we might be even able to do the exact same attack with speed. Or with, Alright, I'm going to start over again. I feel like the strength of what you're trying to do would be a moment like right now, at the 12-minute and 21-second mark, where you could lob a whole bunch of infested Terrans here, hit with Zerglings at his very fast third. You could do a drop in his main, and he'd be caught all the hell out of position.
And even if not, like, what am I losing? Infestor energy and Zerglings.
Yeah.
And I forced him to play really, really, like he's not going to be making probes and really taking full use of that third Nexus, because I've hopefully killed some probes with this attack, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually... I love that. I'm actually even seeing you take your 4th at 13 minutes, and your 3rd happened a little bit earlier than that. I mean, if you're making a big push, it'll delay your 3rd a little bit, but you can get your 3rd and 4th while you're just barreling him down with a ton of pressure. And also, I think if you cut that... Actually, you're getting the burrow. I haven't really seen that come into too much use in these games. I mean, I assume you're largely getting it for the infestor burrow movement stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's really useful in a lot of these early spots? Because I'm just wondering, do you think it would be valid to say, hey, pop that off, and let's just do a lot of aggression earlier on? Because then you could still even have maybe one more infestor in there.
Yeah, it doesn't help if I'm being aggressive. It would help if I'm aggressive and want to, like, just have burrowlings, like whenever they're hitting, they can burrow in the main or burrow in the third and pop back up.
Yeah.
But, like, having it this late doesn't really help much. I can deny the 4th by leaving a burrowed Zergling, and I can run my infestors around cloaked-ish, but... the infestor cloakish thing is not too bad.
I was thinking maybe you could get the burrow so fast it would block the 3rd, but that's being way too cute. That idea is terrible. Go for the 1-base layer rush for burrow. But
just 1 base, yeah. Just stay on 1 base, just rush to burrow. It'd be fun.
I still like that, like what you just said, the taking the burrowed lane and going for the 4th. I think you can easily
yeah.
Because, I mean, like, he's a Protoss player. He's going to build one Observer. I mean, that's like what you do with a Robo. You get your Observer out and you only build Colossus. But that could at the very least catch his army a little more out of position. I almost want to say that your late game is about big, scary, brutal units. Like Ultras, Broodlords, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Your early game is all about defense and staying tight on bases and getting all your tech up. So the mid game, since you're going for a lot of like Zerglings and Infestors, should be a lot about like maneuverability. Should be like the main theme. Like getting the drops. I mean, even I think Nidus networking. Like I'm looking on down by the bottom right where a lot of times players take that fourth. I mean, if you just Nidus wormed and started flanking his
right
expansion from the left,
yep,
that would be a great angle to keep him out of position. And of course, if he's down here defending, you can easily begin, walking some Infestors up to his front door and doing link counterattacks there.
Yeah, like how about imagine even something like where we do that, like I don't even need to Nidus to the bottom right. I can just run my Lings there and have them like threaten the third, at the same time drop the main with Lings, and then at the second have the bird Infestors throwing up a bunch of infested Terrans. Like if we're talking optimal, that's gotta be
great.
It, right?
Yeah, you're just burning through energy at this point, and I love how you're 15 minutes already getting adrenaline 3/3, and thank God for getting adrenal gland. People like never get the adrenal gland. What is that?
I don't know, man. It's a good upgrade. I like it.
Let's see here. And taking the fourth up.
Like also, if you notice, I need to be able to time the dropship and harass with +1/1. That's the other thing we haven't really talked about.
Alright, so let's come back and see when about you can get the +1/1 upgrades. Or when about that happens. Doing your normal build, it looks like they're going to happen. Well, do you really need the 1/1 timing for the, First of all, I think that, yeah, like, just giving the statement, I want all my attacks to line up with the 1/1, makes sense. Because if our mid-game's all about maneuverability and doing cool stuff, then, yeah, that should definitely be part of the plan. Maybe going layer, then 1/1, then speed.
I think I could probably get speed after layer.
Yeah, I think that consistently that's coming up as, like, the bottom of the to-do list. I want to speed up and see when you get your first 100 gas. You get it at 652. How fast do you think you could get a layer on 1 gas? And then build all the other needed components? Because let's see here. You go ahead and get your layer started. Oh, you get your layer started at 7:30. That was the same as last game. Because I feel like right now we've sort of concluded some good stuff for the mid-game, just in terms of like ideas, but I'm wondering if the timing's on or off in any of that. So you get it done at 9.
Keep in mind too, if we get it done too much earlier, he's not gonna have the time to take the third. And we don't care if we don't need to be harassing him before he has the third. So that's not really even what we want. Like it wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean? Like to be harassing earlier, but I don't know. We want it to be hitting with the third, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if because I'm looking at drop. It takes 2 minutes to finish. And when would a third be started? Should you change anything from this play? Because when does Bishu's third get started? He doesn't get it started until like 10 minutes.
Well, I guess one of the things I'd say is if you see Starport, we're going to scrap the whole idea of dropship.
Yeah.
And then we can talk, I guess, later about what we'd replace it with. Like maybe Nidus, but even that I think's risky against Starport. We'd want to just do the Hydra Ling pressure. Or maybe even Hydra defense or something like that. And so infestor, or I don't even know.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I think that you should go infestor if you want your transition to be
Yes,
to the Ultra Ling. I mean, you probably won't be able to like necessarily go up and mess with him and kill him, but I think what it means you can do is I think fast thirds are messing with him when he takes a third base is like the overall goal of the build. Because if you, I mean, if he is going for like that Liquid Hero style dual Stargate into really fast third, you can probably almost kill it outright if you just run in there and do the infested Terran bomb.
Yeah, just get Burrow in that case.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to Burrow move them to the third and then pop. Right?
That was the thought is not bad at all.
Nope, that should work. And then they're not going to be able to hold it because they have just so many Phoenix Void Ray, which don't deal well with Lings.
So I have a weird question. I wonder if you want to do a timing test where I'm really curious at the idea of getting like an early layer off one gas and then getting the 4 gas sort of as we go and sort of staggering that out. Is there any chance you'd want to load up a game against just like single player and out observe?
Sure, that's not a problem.
Woo!
We can try it out.
Because I always get really... I don't know about you, but I do like a ton of just random, just like, let me open up the single player and do it and just see what time it pops out.
It's an interesting idea. I think the only thing that I'm worried about is, will I, like, because the timing again is you want a bunch of oh, I'm on Hero server.
You're on the Hero, you son of a bitch.
Sorry. But anyway, the point just being that you want that key like 54-ish workers before you do the pressure, which is like optimal for 2 base, and then you just go for this harass and take your third with a lot of drones behind it.
Yeah, I still genuinely wonder if you could just like cut almost all the Zerglings out of the equation and just get like 3 spine crawlers and then just go up to like 6 spine crawlers. And then you would cut out a lot of... No, because when I watched your game against Bishu on... What is it? Daybreak. It's not dual side.
Correct.
On Daybreak, you still ended up getting the... And I'm ready to join your game whenever.
Just one sec. Oops. I pressed exit game.
Offline again. You son of a bitch.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah, like, Yeah, you still droned the entire time against him.
That's actually a cool idea. Like, instead of... Like what you said, instead of going for the Lings, you just go for the spine crawlers, and then you get that layer a bit quicker. Because you don't need those Lings early to help you defend or anything.
The one thing is that would make you a little low on money, but I'm wondering if that's necessarily a bad thing, because then you would spend 1 inject creating the creep tumor to start walking out, which would obviously help the spine crawlers, and account for the fact that you're not spending as much money, or you can't spend enough money getting all the larvae into drones.
Yeah. I would even say doing it like, maybe not even the first inject, maybe the second.
Yeah, no, I think the first inject is totally awesome. Is there any chance you can make a, against an AI, so that way I can observe?
Of course.
I figured it'd be weird to just have me sit there.
Yeah,
like, tell me what you're doing. I'm like running a probe around your base trying to find your build order. Or I guess we can actually...
Do you want me to play against an AI or just go...
Well, how does it work? If you start a game like this, if you just start a game in this position...
We'll find out.
I think it lets you resume game? Something like that. I don't know.
I hope so.
Certainly hope so. So you're going to do the same build. You're going to do some sort of like 14-15 pool and then expand, and then you're going to double queen, but you're going to be trying to get your return to game. Hey, cool, you're victorious.
Woohoo! You won already.
Hey, cool, I can open up the production tab and see what you're producing. So,
nice.
I guess, let's see, you'd probably make your 1 gas geyser at like 25? 26?
Okay. Maybe, okay. That's an interesting idea for it.
I mean, if you're spending most of your injects early on, or spending most of your energy on injects, you probably need to get...
Yeah, has to be a little bit later, for sure.
Alright, cool. Oh, you're a 9 Overlorder. Who'd have thought? And by the way, just as a brief note to everyone watching, it's kind of important to note that we began with a strategy that looked pretty fleshed out, and we've already spent like 45 minutes talking about kind of small changes and tweaks, and now we're doing like a test. That's the way strategy works, is that you have to do a lot of testing. It takes a long time to just be like, aha, I cracked it. Because it's kind of a funny thought that the strategy works completely different in terms of success versus anything else. Like if I'm a car salesman and I got 10 customers that day and I sold cars to 3 of them, I'd be like, oh, that wasn't that good. I need to like sell cars to like all 10 of them, or maybe 8 or 9 would be like a really good day. Whereas in StarCraft 2, if you lose 100 times to one strategy and then you finally solve it on the 101st time, boom, you're done. You never, ever, ever need to worry about that ever again. And that's what makes it fun. Alright, cool. You're going for the 16 type thing. The heart! It's a heart!
Why not, right?
So you got your layer start at 7:30 last time, and 9 minutes is when it finished up. And you started your 3 spine crawlers at like 7:15. I feel like maybe you should build 1 spine crawler early. Just because I'm envisioning, you know, Hero doing his like Ling or his Zealot Stalker BS shenanigans.
It's not a bad idea. Makes sense just to be for sure.
Alright, let's see. If I actually open up the name tab... Oh, damn. I tried to hit Control-N to see if it would be like LiquidSheth versus nobody.
Does it not pop up?
It sadly doesn't. Alright, so there's queen number 1 and queen number 2. Yeah, I guess right around right now would be... Right around,
okay.
Like, let's try 22. 22 timing. And I feel like you can't get your 4th gas that early then. You can probably get geysers 2 and 3. But I don't think we're trying to get a lot of infestors all at once, because I think that 8 infestors versus 5 infestors is still probably going to be pretty much the same versus like a lot of that early and mid stuff. I don't think we need an overpoweringly large army. So cool.
Yeah, it's more about the timing of it. I would agree. Like, you just want to be able to surprise them with like the different angles and being able to drop earlier than you'd probably expect.
Let's see here. And I guess it's also important to note that we're probably not even accounting at all for any sort of one-base play, which would be like totally different.
Correct.
Leaving that by the wayside, because obviously if he's like going one base really fast Blink Stalker, he'll have Blink Stalkers by 7:30, and we'll almost have Spine Crawlers done.
Almost. Now, I think here I'm still safe, because I'll generally leave the Zerglings on the tower.
Later. Yeah, right there. Right there, it looks like you can't actually afford that many of the you still have 3 larvae left over in your main.
Yeah, slight little bit of leftover stuff.
So it looks like that second inject should be a creep tumor.
Okay, that's not a bad observation. That's pretty good. I like it. And then
I'm into it. I feel it. And then halfway add another geyser. Is this too early? This might be a little too early. I don't think...
I'm worried about my +1 timing, too. You know what I mean?
That is a stupidly fast layer. Jesus.
Yeah, I think we got it too early.
Way too early. I mean, you can afford building the drones and getting the layer up, but right around now... Actually, I say keep playing it out. Alright, so clearly you're getting the layer a little too early with 22 food. You're getting your double timing on the Evo chambers, and you can easily build an Overseer right now and check out what he's doing.
Correct. We'll just say he's doing some sort of pressure.
Alright, so... yeah, it looks like you haven't gotten your infestors up yet, but you don't need them right there. There's the carapace, there's the +1. This might not actually be bad. I still think that maybe there's a bit too much larva hanging out on the ground. Oh, you also got Zergling Speed. Cancel Zergling Speed. I think that would actually give you the money that you need to build the drones and the infestation pit stuff that you wanted earlier on.
Okay. Do we want infestation before drop, or do we want drop first?
I think you should probably always get infestation pit. I mean, like...
Okay.
Because, I mean, you can't possibly know if he's going for an early...
Pull the Overseer.
But he wouldn't even have the money to go for the early third at this point.
Yeah, true.
So I think...
So are we only getting dropped then with the early third? I guess that does make sense, yeah. I'm going to take our third.
Well...
Well, probably just about max of the drones I can make and be efficient. I'm actually probably going to pass it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
more
like...
spines.
So I'm going to pop out of the game, and I want to rewatch that really fast.
Okay.
Because now I have data. Yeah, data. Like, this is...
Shall I hop out too?
Yeah, if you want. I mean, like, because I feel like that timing was definitely too early. You know, we should actually... we should go to a break. Because that was a long part 2. And we'll do kind of a quicker part 3. So when we come back, we're going to look at more timings for the early game for this build order. Woo! We'll be back in 2 minutes.